What would you say in everything that you just said before is the biggest difference between strength training and actual bodybuilding? Because again, like you went through those trials and errors growing up, and I know that you trained with Flex Wheeler too at a young age, and he basically said no bench press, no squats, no deadlifts for what, like 6 months?
Yeah, it was at least that. And the reason being is because uh, I was already powerlifting for 20 years before I met Flex. And so I was using leverages. I was very strong in the glutes and the lumbar area. And so that would dominate my squats. And I wouldn't get adequate range of motion or quad stimulus because my glutes would take over. Dorian expressed the same concern, and you saw him doing leg presses and hack squats so that he could isolate and have a greater range of motion, which now we're seeing from the literature. That range of motion is a key contributor to hypertrophy. Deadlifting, another exercise that has very limited range of motion and a lot of fatigue and lumbar spine loading, central nervous system fatigue, which increases your delayed onset muscle soreness, so you can't train with the same amount of frequency or volume. Which is critical for bodybuilding, is to grow frequency and volume over time and to have adequate recovery. So all of those things were reasons, whether Flex designed it that way or not. He knew for bodybuilding I would have to do a lot more frequency and volume. We would train 2-a-days. We would do higher repetitions between the 12 and 20 range, a little shorter rest periods, around 2 minutes. Whereas in powerlifting, you're taking 10-minute breaks. You might do 5 sets in an hour and a half, and you probably only train heavy once a week, and the other time would be maybe some speed work. So I don't think that, I've said this many times, I don't think there's any benefit to powerlifting for a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
Being stronger doesn't make you bigger. There's, mechanical tensions all is important, but just for all the things that I just mentioned, you can get the same amount of hypertrophy from a heavy 5-rep set as you can from a moderate 12-rep set or a light 20-rep set, as long as they're taken within a rep or two of failure. But the 10 to 15 rep range in there in the middle is less fatiguing, so you can do more frequency and volume and grow that over time, less potential for injury. And so those things become, the important components of growing muscle. So that's what Flex focused on most with me. And that's when I really had the most volume in my legs, hamstrings. Plus, we wouldn't train more than an hour. You can train longer, you can train hard, but you can't do both. And so we would come in, crush it for about 40 to 50 minutes in the morning, and then about 30 minutes at night, and do it, push-pull legs, repeat, push-pull legs, day off on Sunday. So it was a 6 days straight with a three body part split, push-pull legs. But we would do, on push day, we would do chest in the morning and triceps and shoulders at night. We would do quads in the morning, hamstrings at night on leg day, and on back day, but back in the morning and biceps at night. And so we were able to get, a lot of volume in, but those shorter workouts, you have what we refer to as, when you try and train too long, you get diminishing returns, and you also break down more muscle tissue, so it's harder to recover. You have to be careful with how much muscle tissue you break down during a workout, and even what the kind of foods that you use to help prevent or recover from those workouts, which is particularly going to be carbohydrates. They're not just for performance. Drinking some carbs during and immediately post workout can help mitigate some of the muscle damage, and you can recover a little quicker. These are small things for elite competitive athletes, but they make a difference. And so, because you really need to keep pushing and pushing and pushing the envelope in terms of volume and frequency in order to stimulate growth, because your body you get less and less results over time as a result of being closer and closer to your potential.